I didn't understand what was going on because I just woke up. And he really tried to go into my tent. I had to stop him and push him away, and
Did you hear that?
Oh, it's hard as hell, man.
I just nutted myself. Oh my god. I fell on this log.
Some nights in the wild turn dangerous long before you understand why. One camper wakes at 3 a.m. to the same man trying to enter her tent, while another hears a deep, guttural cry creeping closer through the darkness. What was really out there? Valerie is a traveler who documents her trips through Central Asia with an emphasis on authentic cultural experiences, isolated scenery, and the people she encounters along the way. In this episode, she was camping by herself in an open field in Kazakhstan. During the night, an uninvited visitor came near her tent, turning a calm overnight stop into one of the most terrifying situations she had faced.
start from the beginning. I was in Turkestan hitchhiking to Aristanbab, and it was pretty late in the evening, 7:30 p.m. I'm just a few hundred meters away from the city center in Turkestan, and it's sad to see, but it looks like a different world. The streets are full of potholes, they're scattered everywhere. The contrast is very big, like the huge buildings and the fountains. Yeah, it's just like, it's the same city, right?
To understand what happened, the story begins earlier that day. She was hitchhiking from Turkestan toward Aristanbab, planning to visit the historic mausoleum and nearby mosque. A local family gave her a ride, and by the time she arrived, the evening light was already fading. She quickly needed somewhere to camp.
Okay, I found a good spot here on the field. I have to be quick now though, because the sun is setting and I don't want to use my light because then the mosquitoes will bite me. There are already some horses here next to me, but you can't see them, I guess. I love this place already. And I'm gonna see the mosque in the morning.
And eventually selected a quiet area of open ground as darkness approached. Horses grazed nearby, creating a peaceful setting that she immediately enjoyed. While she prepared for the night, the horses moved closer, seemingly curious about her. She recorded several moments took in the surroundings and settled down to sleep. But roughly an hour later, she woke after hearing movement outside. Thinking the horses had returned, she looked out only to see a car moving across the dark field toward her.
There is someone in the car. I hope he doesn't mind me camping here on his ground.
Қазақша білмейді екен деп аяқсыз.
WhatsApp берші, жаңа телефонды.
Bye bye. Thank you. Kata rahmat. Thank you. Bye.
A man and his wife got out. They appeared to be checking the horses and soon became aware of her tent. Using a translation app, they asked questions about her, where she was from, whether she was married, and why she was there. The conversation seemed friendly, but it continued longer than she expected, while heavy mosquitoes made the encounter increasingly uncomfortable. Eventually, the couple left. A few minutes later, the same vehicle came back. This time, the man asked for her social media details. She gave them to him and the pair drove away again. Although everything had remained outwardly polite, the interaction left her feeling uneasy. She tried sleeping again, but at around 3 a.m., she woke after hearing someone beside the tent.
Can't believe I just called this man friendly. I'm so disappointed. It's 3 a.m. I heard a noise, someone was saying something. I opened the door of my tent and then he was there again, like very close. And he was like making a kissing gesture. And I said, what? I was still like, I didn't understand what was going on because I just woke up, and he really tried to go into my tent. I had to stop him and push him away, and he said, what are you doing? No. Like clearly said, no. And he wouldn't understand, like he wouldn't want to understand. I was like in such a shock because I didn't get why, like what was happening, and I kept saying no, and he wanted to still like come inside. Eventually he said, yeah, phone to speak, like Google Translate, and I said, no, leave me alone, no, go. And I think I said this for 2 minutes straight until he finally left. But man, I've never had that before. And yeah, now he went back into his car. I don't know, will he return or not? So it's a bit stupid situation right now. And I mean, so sad because they were friendly and stuff, but this really destroyed it, unfortunately. And it was the first time I didn't really feel 100% safe. I mean, I was sure that one day I will face these kind of...
Looking outside, she saw the same man standing extremely close. His behavior was clearly inappropriate, and he tried to get inside despite her repeated efforts to stop him. She pushed him back and refused his advances, but he kept attempting to come closer, demanding more interaction even while she continued rejecting him. After several tense minutes, he finally backed away and went to his car. Even then, she could not know whether he truly intended to return. When morning came, she followed through with her original plan to visit the mausoleum, trying to take something positive from the experience, despite looking exhausted and shaken. What made the incident especially disturbing was that nothing she had done invited that behavior. She had only been polite, responded to his questions, and kept ordinary social boundaries, none of which could excuse his choice to return alone during the night and try to force his way into her private space. Although Valerie kept traveling afterward, the encounter became a serious reminder of the caution required when camping alone in unfamiliar locations. By morning, the field appeared calm once more, with cows walking nearby as though nothing had happened. Viewers interested in more real encounters that can make everyday life feel safer can watch the next video, and subscribing helps support the channel. Some viewers believe the man came back because he misunderstood her politeness, while others think he deliberately targeted her after realizing she was alone. The encounter shows how fast an ordinary interaction can turn into a genuine threat. The disturbing question remains, if she had not woken at that exact moment, what might he have done next? Viewers are left wondering how close she came to a much worse outcome, and whether the man had ever planned to stop. The Tiny Nomad channel follows Gina as she travels and lives from her reliable Forerunner recording solo road trips, car camping routines, and visits to strange isolated locations across North America, especially Alaska. Her videos are recognized for her practical approach and willingness to push beyond limits, frequently taking her to eerie places and challenging stealth camping situations. On October 29, 2025, Gina headed out to record a Halloween special. She originally planned to stay overnight at the famous abandoned Igloo Hotel near Denali National Park. But when she arrived, the entire property had been closed off, leaving her no choice but to change plans. The day had already brought several disappointments: a dull drive through a quiet Denali and a meal in Talkeetna that left her unsatisfied, so she chose a more unsettling alternative: a reportedly haunted cemetery in Anchorage, where she planned to stealth camp through the night. Following a long drive, she arrived at the Russian Orthodox cemetery. Its unusual appearance created an eerie atmosphere, especially the colorful house-shaped structures covering the graves, which she later discovered were known as spirit houses.
So this is a Russian Orthodox cemetery. I've never been to one of these before, but they have the coolest, I shouldn't be saying cool, I'm like surrounded by a bunch of dead people right now, and I'm saying their little tombstones are cool. Oh God.
Although fascinated by them, Gina became increasingly uncomfortable while standing alone among the structures in near total silence, feeling that the string of bad luck earlier made the setting seem darker. Strange activity started shortly after she parked. A light near the small church inside the cemetery began switching on and off. Gina checked the weather and noticed there was no wind, then wondered whether an animal could be setting it off. However, the timing soon seemed difficult to dismiss.
You guys, I'm not making this up right now, but there's a light in front of the church, and when you walk past the light, it turns on. I know, because I walked over there 2 times to look at the cemetery, and now I'm in my car, and it's flicked on 2 times. It's not windy outside. It could be an animal, I guess. I did hear something in the bushes as well when I was looking at one of the tombstones. I don't know if that's what you call them, because they're not stones. But you know what I mean. There's no way I'm going to be able to sleep tonight here. I'm going to try, though. I do not like how that light keeps turning on and off. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's a light that lights up the front of the church. And there it goes. It's turned on twice since I've come back. What do you think it is, guys? Do you think it's animals or wind, or do you think it's ghosts or spirits?
The light came on whenever she discussed paranormal subjects, while she looked at the spirit houses, and again as she read about their symbolic role as shelters for souls in the afterlife. Unsettled, Gina researched the cemetery and learned that it was considered one of Alaska's most paranormally active locations, something she had not known before arriving.
Just reading a little bit more about the spirit boxes, and they symbolize shelter for the departed soul in the afterlife. Right as I read that sentence, of course, that light turned on again. Of course, it could mean nothing, but it could mean something. You guys let me know. What do you think? Okay, I really haven't researched much about this cemetery until right now. Obviously, our plans from earlier got a little messed up. I was going to be camping at the igloo, so this was a quick last-minute change of plans. Well, I just learned that this cemetery is one of Alaska's most notorious locations for paranormal activity. I cannot make this up. I did not know that until right now. Oh my God. I feel like I have to stay because I committed to it, but your girl is scared. I do not like that light coming on and off. It's not even windy outside. I do not want to be around paranormal activity.
That discovery increased her anxiety, although she still felt committed to completing the Halloween episode. For safety, she changed her stealth camping setup and left the window covers off, allowing her to reach the driver's seat immediately if necessary. She felt as though an unwelcome presence was nearby and prepared herself for a night without sleep. Despite her fear, she eventually managed to sleep briefly. Every small sound made her alert, and the light kept flickering during the night, but nothing more serious happened. Once daylight returned, the strange activity stopped. Gina quickly packed up the vehicle, relieved that she had completed the eerie Halloween stealth camp and ready to leave one of Alaska's most haunted cemeteries behind. Some viewers believe the repeated light activity had a natural explanation, environmental conditions, or an animal triggering it. Others argue that its timing matched Gina's actions too closely to be dismissed as coincidence. The pattern leaves open the question of whether the cemetery's reputation shaped her interpretation of the night, or whether the experience supported it. If the activity became stronger only when Gina focused on the cemetery's history, what could have happened if she had stayed awake longer or explored further? The encounter leaves one question unanswered: was anything there reacting to her presence? Novus Wild Camper is a channel run by a solo outdoorsman, focused on peaceful hikes, simple outings, and relaxed wild camping. The trip began calmly and routinely until darkness brought something that seemed out of place. On December 20th of 2021, Mad was working nearby and chose to spend the night on White Edge. A viewer recommended the spot, and the evening seemed perfect with a bright moon and a slight chill in the air, unaware that a hidden presence would soon make itself known that night. He followed the path past mist settling in the valleys and selected a place to set up his tent. Once camp was ready, he settled into his normal routine, cooking simple noodles, making coffee, and having a drink, while the temperature kept dropping. Around 9:30 p.m., Mad got into his sleeping bag and attempted to sleep. He had spent many nights camping alone and knew the ordinary sounds of wildlife. But while drifting off, a deep guttural noise carried through the darkness.
Right, so I've heard deer, I've heard foxes make some really weird noises at night. But
The sound was strange. It was neither a bark nor a scream, but something deeper and harsher, almost like labored breathing between each call. Mad remained alert as the noise came again, this time appearing closer.
not sure if the camera picked it up, but God knows what it is. It's quite a weird guttural sound. I'll try and boost it on the edit, see if you can hear it, because that is really weird. Did you hear that? That's quite eerie. It does not sound like a deer. Definitely doesn't sound like a fox.
He stayed motionless, listening for movement beyond the tent. Nothing came after it. He remained zipped inside and avoided turning on a light. The darkness felt absolute, and whatever had made the noise seemed close enough to disturb him more than any previous night outdoors. After some time, he tried to relax again, but the uneasiness remained.
I'm going to zip up and put my earplugs in, I think. Try and get some sleep, and hopefully I'll still be here in the morning.
Something about the noise felt wrong. By sunrise, Matt had already been awake for hours. The temperature had fallen to roughly 2 degrees Celsius, and condensation coated the tent walls. The deep cry never returned, but a strange sound took its place.
I'm acting like I've just woke up. It's about 7 o'clock. I've been up since 5. Just trying to get some morning shots. Don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there's a very weird sounding bird. It sounds like a kookaburra with a sore throat. It's not going to do it now.
This time, he heard a harsh rattling bird call unlike anything familiar to him, nothing resembling the usual Peak District birds. The noise remained close to camp until he started packing up. In daylight, the ridge appeared peaceful again, almost harmless. Even so, the memory of that deep guttural noise stayed with him. He gave the campsite one final look, shouldered his pack, and headed back toward the car. The night had been unsettling, and whatever had moved through the area left one thing clear: he had not been alone. Some viewers believe the noises came from rare wildlife, while others suspect something unknown was nearby. If you heard those sounds alone at night, would you remain calm or leave immediately? The northwest wind, run by Sam, is known for stealth camps, autumn scenery, and entering overlooked places. That atmosphere disappeared during a late-season attempt inside a corn maze. On October 26, 2023, Sam entered from the woods, pushing through brush and mud to remain unseen.
I've been bushwhacking for a few minutes. It's right up over this hill. Trying not to get my feet wet, but it's mud butt brooks back here. I gotta find a better way in.
Once among the tall rows, the feeling changed. Every movement disturbed the stalks, every gust made them rustle, and the maze stopped feeling deserted.
Just trying to get a feel for where would be best to set up. I don't want to be seen in here. I'm at the bottom of a hill, and there's a nice overlook at the top. So there's plenty of people around. It's peak foliage, and this is like a very scenic spot. People come take photos all the time. So I gotta definitely lay low for a while. Kind of sketchy, a little sketchy. It is kind of spooky in here, not gonna lie. Sorry if I'm talking quiet. I just don't want anybody to know that I'm in here at all. The maze is closed today, so I'm not supposed to be in the maze. That's why I came today.
Because the attraction had closed for the day, Sam knew he had to remain hidden and silent while looking for somewhere to camp. Voices carried from the edges of the field.
Yeah, see, you hear people back there? I hope the camera could pick that up. You probably could. I just need to get to my spot.
Quads could be heard farther away, and a dog barked nearby. With the maze officially shut, any movement among the rows could attract attention. Once darkness arrived and the area became black, the tension increased quickly.
I hear somebody coming on a quad or a side-by-side. There's somebody over here on a quad. Oh, shit. That was literally 10 feet from me. Hang on. They're literally like right there.
Engines came closer than expected, while flashlight beams moved through the corn only yards from his position. Sam then realized a detail he had missed while planning. The owners of the farm did not simply work there, they also lived beside the maze.
I keep hearing people very close by, and those side-by-sides and machines have went by several times. I looked at the Google map again. The people that own this farm, their house is actually here. The people that own and live on this farm are actually 100 yards away. So I'm gonna bail, because the last thing I want is to get shot or be seen out here in the middle of the night and people wonder what the hell's going on their property. It's just not worth the risk. Those are flashlights. I can't film now because the screens are on.
Their home and yard sat only around 100 yards from where he intended to spend the night. The quad returned again, even closer as voices and moving lights crossed the area. What started as an ordinary stealth camp suddenly became a situation where Sam could be mistaken for a trespasser wandering around a family's land after dark.
They're roaming around here for some reason. I don't know if it's because I'm in here or not, but I'm not taking the risk. I knew this place was commercial, but I didn't realize their house was right there. They got a pool, a tennis court, they're rich. I did not know they lived here, and I'm not gonna get caught in their backyard. That's a good way to get shot. They're close, they're really close. I'm not scared of getting caught. I'm scared of getting caught by homeowners in the middle of the night, so I just gotta get out of here. I think they're looking for me. I promise you I didn't plan this to end up like this. That's the side-by-side, it's close. I gotta get the hell out of here now.
A single misunderstanding or wrong movement could have led to consequences. Realizing the risk, Sam decided to abandon the camp.
All right, I'm out of the cornfield, but now I gotta cross a road and go back into the woods. There's lights on back there. Do you hear them in the background? I just gotta go, I gotta go. Okay, I gotta go. They're still going around the property. I'm in the woods. Ugh. Okay, they're coming down here again. I don't know why this, okay, hang on.
I think I'm technically off their property now, but it's pitch black and I'm in the woods. And yeah, their back porch is right at the corner of that corn maze. I'm just not comfortable sleeping in somebody's backyard. If it were me and I saw somebody in my backyard with a flashlight late at night, I'd be outside with a weapon. I'm not going to puff my chest. It just wouldn't end well. It wouldn't be a good situation.
With his heart pounding, he moved when the wind covered his noise, forced his way through the corn, and continued farther into the woods.
I gotta cross this creek, try and get across these logs. I'm like thick in it. I'm deep in it right now. I had to turn it on because I don't know where I'm going. Ow. Oh, I just nutted myself. Oh my God. I fell on this log. Oh, I just nutted myself.
He then faced a creek crossing unstable logs and a long journey through total darkness. When he finally reached the road, Sam was muddy bruised and frustrated. He viewed the night as a failed attempt, a lesson to remember, and an experience to leave behind. Even so, the corn maze became one of those encounters that stayed with him. Some viewers believe the activity was the landowners checking their property, while others think Sam's presence may have caused the response. In that situation, would you take the chance and stay or leave immediately? On September 27, 2021, Irish YouTuber Dara Ta, known for bold exploration content, entered what he considered the world's most claustrophobic cave. Filmed somewhere in the United Kingdom, the challenge was not about gaining views or attention. It was about facing his lifelong fear of tight spaces. A passage barely wide enough for movement. A test that could only be completed by crawling directly through the darkness. The video opens at the cave's cramped entrance where Dara explains his goal of confronting claustrophobia.
I mean, this is one of the hardest crawls in the world. This entrance crawl is obviously horrific, but on the way out then, there's a challenge called the Vice. If you get wrong, you end up dropping down into the lower part of the keyhole and getting jammed.
What happens if you get jammed?
The last rescue took almost 9 hours from the incident happening to exiting the cave.
The last rescue?
This is just the entrance, man. I haven't seen anything yet.
I can't even feel my head. Keep going.
Lovely.
My arms race. This is so scary.
That is tight.
Oh God. I'm not liking that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is not nice, man. How much worse does it get?
This is easy, boys.
The first passage is narrow, forcing him to squeeze his body against cold rock while moving ahead. His breathing becomes heavier as the tunnel tightens. Every movement of his helmet drags against the stone overhead. Deeper inside, he admits that this is the most dangerous situation he has ever faced. A single wrong movement could leave him trapped. At one point, he becomes stuck, unable to move forward or backward. The camera captures only rough rock and his headlamp beam trembling against it. He controls his breathing and keeps moving.
Oh, come on. What am I doing? What am I doing?
It's so deep. Everywhere's wet and cold.
Oh, you're joking. You're joking.
This is disgusting. That's a tight squeeze. Oh, it's tight as hell, man.
This is the worst situation I've ever been in. Oh, come on. Big push. Mate, we're going down. Knee pads would have been good.
Do you want some good news, mate? Please. You've done it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So it's just the vice left?
Yeah.
So it's just massive caverns.
That's it.
And then an exit to the vice.
That's all it is, man. 64 kilometres, so
64 kilometers.
That's crazy. We could easily get lost.
We're going to try and get to what's called the big chamber nowhere near the entrance.
So we've made it to the logbook.
Let's get it. I'm so made up.
We get to sign the logbook and be one of very few people who have ever been in this cave. Do it, Matt.
Yeah, I'm made up there.
How do you feel?
I feel accomplished.
We've been to one of the most remote places in the world.
And Dara.
Oh, hot. I'm gonna be a total scumbag here. Sub to Dara. Yeah!
After crawling for what seems endless, he reaches a large chamber deep inside the cave system. There, he finds a logbook signed by previous explorers. Dara writes his own name before continuing toward the final obstacle. The vice a passage so narrow that he cannot even turn his head. Somehow he manages to get through. Viewers later said the most frightening part was not the cave itself, but how calm Dara sounded while trapped. There was no panic, only a sense of acceptance, as though he had already decided that fear could only be survived by continuing through it. Dara described the experience as unbelievable and said he would never return. Still, many wondered whether escaping a dark place truly means the fear inside it has been left behind. That's it for tonight. Which moment creep? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story. Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.